came out yesterday regarding the Errol Spence situation with the car accident that occurred last week. Um, Apparently, now, as I suspected, alcohol was involved in the accident, and he's going to be charged with a DWI. I know a lot of people have been talking about this situation with Errol Spence, and one thing that hasn't come up really is, does he have an alcohol problem? Is this an issue that's going to plague him moving forward in his career? And will it eventually sidetrack him in attaining all his goals? And will it affect him not only as a fighter but as a person moving forward? Will this be something that overcomes him and you know something that he just won't be able to overcome, or something that could become worse and spiral out of control if he doesn't grab hold of this problem? And another question we have to ask ourselves is, you know, a lot of us have seen videos and footage of him being posted on the internet, and he's done it himself with people partying and drinking and having a good time. Now, again, if you are close to Errol Spence and you know what lies ahead of him and the potential he has and the future that he has in the sport of boxing, he can go down in history and break records and attain a lot of great things. So why, if you're a friend of him, if you're close to him, and I'm sure family members, have to have seen some of his behavior, why wasn't this addressed? Why wasn't this brought up to him? Why didn't people step in? Why didn't someone grab those keys from Errol Spence that night, or that early morning, I should say, at 3 a.m. after he left that club? And why didn't someone drive him home? Or why didn't someone make sure that he had a ride home? That's a question that you have to ask yourself. So the people that are around Errol Spence, they must have seen or knew about his behavior. Because as I said before, we've seen him on videos, after fights, um, that he has attended as a fan, as a spectator. We've seen him slurring his words. We've seen him being interviewed, seen him kind of look tipsy at these events. So I think the writing has been on the wall, and even a lot of us, and myself included, probably didn't think it was this big of a problem. But now, when you're getting behind the wheel of a sports car and you're speeding and alcohol is also involved, then obviously that is a major, major problem. And you have to ask yourself, has this been acknowledged by Errol Spence? And has it also been acknowledged by the people and the team around him? Because I know a lot of people, their big, response to all this when they heard all the news was, oh, how could he be so irresponsible? He needs to shape up. He needs this. He needs to, but ultimately the guy needs help. If he does have an alcohol problem, he needs support. He doesn't need people to make fun of the situation. I'm seeing people come on here making videos, calling him a lush, calling him a drunk, insulting him, and this and that. And again, we don't know Errol Spence personally, but from what we do know of him in terms of his interviews and how he comes across to the public, and what we've seen of him, he seems like a family guy. He seems like a great father. Seems like a good person, good down to earth guy. He's always accessible to the press, and seems to be really cordial to fans. And it seems like he's got a good personality, and he's just a good guy all around. Now, obviously, we all have problems. We all have our demons, and this could be one of his demons, and this could be obviously an issue for him. But I don't think it's fair that we should just throw this guy under the bus and insult him and make fun of the situation, because this is a serious issue. If someone has an addiction problem, whether it be drugs, alcohol, anything, um, I think the first line of defense should be help, should be support. And all I'm seeing is a lot of negativity in regards to this whole situation. Not a lot of support from everybody. And that's a great point, Centurion Son. I think that the crew that he's around isn't helping him, and he has to make better choices himself. Uh, well, again, I'm not going to sit there and try to dissect you, Fight Film. He said, Fight Film says we all don't have demons. Okay, you live a perfect life. You're an anointed one. I'm sorry, but if that's how you feel, then you must be perfect and you don't have any issues. That's great. Good for you. I'm glad that you're better than all of us and you don't have any problems in your life. That's great. Sean Newton says Spence didn't help today with his comment. What did he say? Sean Newton. I'd like to know. I never heard a comment. I can go on the internet later today and probably search it. But if you know, it'd be great if you could tell me right now so I can kind of speak to it a little bit. I don't know what he says. Does anyone know what Spence said today? Oh, Spence said that he's a savage. Yeah, I mean, if he's saying he's a savage because he's glorifying that he survived instead of realizing that he probably wouldn't have been in the issue if he wasn't drinking, then that's a problem. That's a problem. If he's not acknowledging the issue, that's a problem. Yeah, I get that. Headbutt to Wins in the chat says somebody you know or are related to drinks and drives. It's more common than you think. Yeah, I think it's very common, but once again, it needs to be addressed. I think people that are friends of the person that's trying to get behind the wheel and drinking and driving, I think they should make an attempt and an effort to not allow that to happen. And I know if I'm with somebody and I see them try to get behind the wheel of a car and they're drunk, I'm gonna do everything in my power to grab those keys away from them. And apparently that wasn't done in this situation with Errol Spence. And I think that's the problem. That's something that probably needed to be done. I think it's something that needed to be done. And I think it's a shame that it wasn't done. To be perfectly honest with you, I think it's a shame that it wasn't done. So yeah, that wasn't a great comment that he made. If he said he's a savage and he's basically glorifying the fact that he survived after being in that horrible accident. And he's got to be thankful that he did survive. He's very lucky to have survived with very little damage to him. But can this happen again? Because apparently, if you're getting behind the wheel of a car under the influence, you're using poor judgment, number one, and number two, if you don't acknowledge that you have a problem by doing something like that, then the chances of that happening again are great, and that's something that you don't want to happen. If you would want Errol Spence to address the issue. So I think PBC, all the people, his management team, his trainer, his family, I think everyone needs to get around him and really let him know that this is a problem that needs to be addressed. And if he does, I'm pretty sure the DWI charges will probably stick. I'm pretty confident that they will. And if they do, then he's going to get license suspension probably for 3 months because it's his first time offense. But he needs to probably get some type of rehabilitation for this. Some type of rehabilitation for this. He needs to try to have some type of something to kind of give him some support and some counseling on this. He's going to need some type of rehabilitation, definitely. And I hope that he's willing to allow himself to be rehabilitated and he doesn't, go into denial about his issue and his problem. Now, how does this affect his boxing career moving forward? will this be a detriment to his boxing career moving forward? Which is definitely secondary when you're talking about his quality of life and how it's going to affect him personally and his family. That's the greater concern. But at the end of the day, he is a boxer, and that's what we know about him, and that's why we follow him, because he is a boxer, and we're people who follow the sport of boxing, and we commentate on the sport of boxing, and we have our analysis on the sport of boxing. So we have to ask ourselves, and this question: will this affect his boxing career moving forward? Will he be the same moving forward? Will this take years off of his career? And how long has he had this problem? Did he only start having this problem once he started making big money, and then the hanger-ons probably came aboard his team and his crew, and then they kind of influenced him a little bit. Again, I'm speculating here, but I'm just trying to figure this out. Has we need to figure out, and it's something that I'm curious about, and I'm sure most of you are curious about, if this has been an ongoing long-term thing with Errol Spence. That's the big question that we have to ponder here. Fight Film says Spence will have a short career at the top, most likely. Well, again, there's been other fighters that have been great fighters that have had substance abuse problems in the past, and they had a storied career, and then they're in the Hall of Fame right now. So to sit here and jump the gun and say that Spence can't overcome this, and that all of a sudden this is the end of Errol Spence. If he doesn't grab a hold of the problem and try to rectify it, obviously, yeah, it could be the end of him. But does he deserve the benefit of the doubt here? Not the benefit of the doubt for what he did, but the benefit of the doubt that he can turn this around. Should we just throw up our hands and say, this is over, his career is over, he's done? Because that's what I'm seeing a lot of people do. Like, a lot of people love to celebrate the shortcomings and downfalls of others. They try to subtract from others to add to themselves. And everybody loves tragedy. Everybody loves controversy. Everybody loves a sad story when it's not about them. Everybody likes to relish in someone else's anguish. And is this the time to do that? Does Errol Spence deserve to be shit on? Does he deserve to be thrown under the bus? Does he deserve to be just cast aside and basically toss him into the woulda, coulda, shoulda beens right now, without giving him the benefit of the doubt and at least seeing if he can turn this around and correct and address this problem moving forward? I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm disappointed in what happened. I'm disappointed in his decision making. I'm disappointed in the bad and poor judgment that he used. But, in the same token, does that mean I'm going to sit here and character assassinate him? And I'm going to sit here and say that, what? It's over for him. I'm not willing, and I'm not ready to do that just yet. I'm going to be pulling for Errol Spence to overcome this problem. I'm going to be pulling for Errol Spence to succeed. And I'm going to hope and wish him and his family the best through this ordeal and this hardship. And I just hope that he realizes how serious of an issue this is, and he takes the proper steps to correct it. That's just how I feel about the situation. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Does Errol Spence have an alcohol problem? Was this just a first time thing? Did he, is it naive of us to think that this was the first time he got behind the wheel of a car under the influence, after seeing all that footage of him partying and drinking it up and being tipsy and slurring his words during interviews or while he was on camera? Is it naive for us to believe that this is the first time he did this and he's gotten lucky in the past? Or, is this a real serious problem? I tend to believe this is a real serious problem. And I tend to believe that this isn't the first time that he did this. And I tend to believe that if he doesn't get help, that this could happen again if he's in denial about this problem. That's just how I, look at the situation. That's just how I feel about the situation. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I'm off base here. Let me know if you just think that this was just a, one bad incident and one, bad use of judgment here by Errol Spence. But I find it hard to believe this is just a one-time thing with Errol Spence. I think the empirical data and just the history has shown us otherwise. So Sean Newton says, of course, this isn't the first time. Yeah, I probably agree with you, Sean. Boxing Spectrum says Errol only cares about his selling power. He doesn't care about anything else. He is a selfish dude. Centurion Sun says Errol the drunk Spence. So it seems like at least the people in this chat don't have any sympathy for Errol Spence, and they're not willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. But other people that are watching this video and that are going to comment on this video, once again, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys believe, and let me know if you think Errol Spence can come out of this and take charge of his career and still achieve all of the great things that lie ahead of him in boxing. All right, guys, that's all I have for now. Like I said, as I conclude this video, I'm rooting for Errol Spence. I'm pulling for Errol Spence. I hope he comes out of this and rises above this problem and becomes as great as he can possibly be. All right, guys, Beaver's out. Talk to y'all soon. Peace. Have a great day. And take care of yourselves out there.